bring you a very special episode of Fair Go.
We slap a big old please explain notice on the companies who issue unfair parking tickets.
Apparently I was in the drive-through for over 7 hours from 1 till 9:30 in the morning.
And we asked why a lift, which was supposed to help an elderly man get out and about, isn't really going anywhere.
How many times would you say Walter actually got to use that lift?
Probably 3 times. He used to say to me, I've got a bad feeling about this lift.
And then join us as we honour Fair Go's 5 decades on air fighting for the little guy.
Oh my God!
Tēnā koutou katoa, welcome to Fair Go's final show as you know it. Look, we'll save the goodbyes for later though, because first we have got your stories to tell.
First up, lifts. Getting stuck in one is bad, but so is getting stuck with a $30,000 lift that barely works.
Yes, when Walter's health issues meant he could no longer use the stairs, he and his wife had an elevator installed.
Turns out it was trouble from the get-go. Trouble that no one would put right.
So we elevated it to the very top. Here's Kaylin.
For nearly 55 years, Ulrika had someone by her side.
This was our special place to relax and just enjoy nature.
Last year, she said goodbye to her Walter. She'd hoped their final memories would be together here, outside. But something was in Walter's way.
He couldn't walk anymore, and we needed a wheelchair and we needed a lift, and yeah, it always comes back to the lift.
The Auckland couple decided to get one for their 2-storey house when Walter could no longer get around on his own.
I said to him, you know, that would give you a chance to get out, because he could not go down the front door stairs. He was terrified of it.
His hospice recommended 3 lift companies, but only one of them did outside lifts.
We couldn't put one in here. It would have taken up half our lounge.
That company was Phoenix Elevators, who agreed to put in an external platform lift at a cost of around $30,000. The installation was supposed to take 2 weeks and be finished by the end of March 2022, but shipping delays pushed this out to around July.
When the lift arrived, oh man, we were so excited.
Ulrika took photos of the progress for Walter, which is how he spotted the first problem.
I took a photo and I was standing there thinking, something's not right here. And he took one look at it and he says, wrong door.
They'd made a point of asking for folding doors in the paperwork. Phoenix Elevators had put in swing doors.
And those swing doors could have swung back and hit him with the wheelchair.
The doors were replaced, but
from then on, it's just been one thing after another.
No sooner was the lift installed when
the lift started rusting. All the joints, all the panels, every bolt and screw started rusting.
So Phoenix got someone in to de-rust and repaint it.
And I thought, that's not going to work. And sure enough, it only took a few months and it started rusting again.
All the while, Ulrika says the lift would only work now and then.
Mostly when I needed it for Walter, it didn't work. So we had to get help.
Spending hundreds of dollars on health services to get him to appointments.
How many times would you say Walter actually got to use that lift?
Probably 3 times. Funny, sometimes he used to say to me, I've got a bad feeling about this lift.
Walter died in June. The lift problems remained.
I would have liked to spend that time with Walter. Going somewhere nice. Yeah. He used to look around and often say, I love this place, you know, you've made it beautiful. And that was the only thing that he had.
By now, Ulrika had paid Phoenix Elevators just over $27,000. In September, the lift started leaking.
Now it rains into the cabin because there's gaps in the roof.
Ulrika says the last time she tried using it was a few weeks before Christmas.
And then it just stopped. One time I was in it and it stopped halfway down. And I was thinking, how am I going to get out of this thing? I can't jump that high.
She says she called Phoenix Elevators one more time.
And I thought, I'm not using this thing. It's too risky.
She was told the business was closing over the holiday period, so she'd hear from them in the new year.
And I've heard nothing.
So she came to Fair Go, reluctantly.
I don't like even complaining, but I knew I had to do this for Walter.
We're no lift experts, but we know how to find them, enlisting the help of independent engineering consultancy Vertrans to carry out an inspection. Ulrika's lift failed the test.
In my opinion, the lift is not fit for purpose. It has serious issues with it as far as safety is concerned, and it is not, from my opinion, it's not designed for use in an outdoor environment.
The lift was manufactured by a company in China called Morn. Parts of a lift are aluminium, which he says is fine, but a large part of the cabin is mild steel and is rusting a lot.
Already those pins there are rusting out, causing the gate lock to be inoperable.
He saw the same leaks Ulrika was worried about.
Water is seeping into the cabin. This control box here is not weatherproof, and all the components inside there are suffering from moisture. That's not going to last for very long at all.
And this got his alarm bells ringing.
The lift door, which serves the bottom floor, is able to be opened when the lift is at the top floor, creating a 2.5 metre drop to the concrete below. If it's operational and there was maybe grandchildren or whatever were to come around and play in it, then that could be a fatality.
We took the findings to the owner of Phoenix Elevators, Clive Snell.
Can I help you?
Incredibly, he told us the lift issues were news to him.
The important thing, from overseas, we didn't build it.
But you installed it, correct?
Yeah, we put it in here.
So, happy to take the money for it, meaning by law he's responsible for it working properly. He didn't believe Ulrika had been in touch about further problems in December.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of that. The last I heard, it was all okay.
After years of problems, Ulrika just wants her money back and the lift gone. But Phoenix is putting the blame back on Morn for supplying a problematic lift.
Morn stands by its lifts as safe and certified, though it appears it's not the only lift with issues, despite Ulrika being told otherwise by Phoenix.
I asked a few times, am I the only one having these problems? Yeah, well, you're just complaining all the time.
But here's an email Clive sent to Morn the same day we first contacted him.
Several years ago, we purchased exterior lifts from your company. We found them to be substandard. The other units are in a similar state.
We've been back and forth and back again between Phoenix and Morn to get compensation for Ulrika. Finally, Morn's told Clive they're now considering compensation, but say the probability of that is not very high.
We're holding out hope that between them, they'll compensate Ulrika for the tens of thousands of dollars spent on a lift her Walter couldn't use.
That is appalling.
It's, not good enough. Phoenix really needs to put this right. And look, we won't be on air next Monday night, but our new online team won't be letting this go.
Yeah, hi there, Kenay. Coming up, parking tickets, the overpriced, the unfair, and the just plain ridiculous.
There were no cones around when we pulled into the parks, otherwise we wouldn't have parked there.
And our final highlights wrap, we look back at the heartwarming.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
And the hilarious.
Kia ora nau mai, hoki mai, welcome back. Look, over the years there have been many issues that have really got your goat.
So many.
But there's one that is surely a contender for top of the list.
Yep, and that is getting back to your car and spying that little white ticket under your windscreen wipers.
Jill's taking parking ticketers to task, asking are they fair and why it is so hard to win an appeal.
Get ready to put up a fight. We're hearing that's what's needed if you want to dispute your parking fine.
The reply back from their waiver department was, no, we're not going to let you away with it.
I got an email saying that they declined my appeal.
We've had dozens of complaints this year, so fair goes stepping into some boxing rings, starting in the Garden City.
My girlfriend and I were going to the town hall to go to the Christmas concert. Parked my car, walked over to the closest pay station, and we noticed that the couple in front of us were getting a wee bit stressed.
Yeah.
Can you read?
No, I can't read anything.
I know it's not the... hasn't put the Y in. So I said to them, do you need a bit of help?
Yeah.
What do you need now? I know it is.
I put
the number in, but I don't know what I have to do now, and I can't read it. I know, it's hard to see. Now, if I cancel that... B4, bloody machine. And at that time, the parking guy came around and I said, look, it's okay, I've got this. And it went through $10.60. So it's given you right through till tomorrow morning.
Rhonda, now running late, paid too. She had a magical time at the concert, but getting back to her car, the spell was broken.
The ticket was sitting on my window.
It said no valid payment. Turns out the fine was for taking too long to pay. Industry standard is 10 minutes. Wilson says it's more generous.
15 minutes?
The TNCs do say to pay for the whole duration of parking. But is it fair, paying $10 for the whole night, but fined $85 for taking 15 minutes to pay? Wilson said,
our breach fees are reflective of what is charged across the whole industry.
Rhonda felt she shouldn't pay at all. She could prove she'd got a ticket and the warden saw why she was delayed. So she appealed, recruiting fair go to her cause. But
on the 8th of January, they sent me a letter to tell me that I now had a $105 fine.
Then, without explanation, her fine was waived. But Rhonda makes a point.
I think on busy nights, they need to be aware that there may be a queue.
Wilson's again.
We accept if there's a significant queue, our officers are expected to and have permission to apply discretion. We've taken the feedback on board with regard to adjusting grace periods for surges in demand.
Next stop, Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland.
A couple rushed to this pretty empty car park late at night because they wanted to find their daughter who'd called to say she'd been assaulted.
Oh, it was awful. She was sobbing hysterically. She just said it was involving two men. You just park. You just want to get there for your child.
They parked here for 25 minutes. The limit was 15. Days later, a fine arrived. Fair enough, but surely they'd waive it.
Anybody with any human decency, I thought there wouldn't be an issue.
There was.
Just this cold, almost like a template response asking us to provide evidence that we'd shopped at one of the local shops.
A second appeal with their police report was turned down.
It was full and final, and they weren't considering anything.
Fairgo questioned this complete lack of empathy. Now Smart Compliance said,
we now recognise there were mitigating circumstances and are in the process of refunding.
Contacting you was never about the money. It was just the, needing to call out such poor behaviour from a company.
Quite right too. Now to Tauranga, where Sarah was worried what was getting served up.
We're off to go fishing. We were just going to get a snack before we left. It was about 1 a.m. Went through the drive-through as normal. It was a week later I got the ticket. What? $85? No, this is ridiculous. I've got to ring these people.
McDonald's offers an hour free parking. Wilson's enforces it, but hold on.
Apparently I was in the drive-through for over 7 hours from 1 till 9:30 in the morning. How do you work this out? The times are wrong. Right, so how do I appeal this payment?
By email, but her appeal to Wilson's was rejected, even though the photo shows her leaving when it's pitch black. Not common at 9:32 in the morning.
I thought, bugger this. So I went into McDonald's and asked to speak to a manager. I just want to know what you guys are going to do about this.
I'll put that through now and then hopefully by the end of the
Okay, thank you. I have not heard from them at all. I haven't heard from either parties.
So as far as you know, you still got that fine?
Yeah.
She's worried.
On the bottom of the ticket in bold writing, there's clauses saying that if you don't pay after the second reminder, they will send it to a debt collector or your car can be towed, which I found quite terrifying.
So we got in touch with both McDonald's and Wilson's. Their takeaway message?
We can confirm Sarah's breach notice has been waived. It was issued due to a misread by the cameras.
That sorted, we're off to the adventure capital, where Lynette's adrenaline got pumping for the wrong reason.
Wanted to do some fun activities.
At 8:30 by the gondola, there were plenty of parks.
Bought a ticket for 3 hours parking.
Steve went up the luge, Lynette went down to the lake. She was back just after 10.
I noticed, there's a cone there in front of the car.
Disabled parking.
Then I saw a ticket on the window and I thought, what? But we've already paid. There were no cones around when we pulled into the parks, otherwise we wouldn't have parked there.
Lynette saw red.
I drove down the hill and I seen the parking warden.
Did you just ticket my car with a $150 fine for parking on a disabled car park?
And then he goes, yep, I ticketed you.
Well, who put the cones out? They weren't there when we arrived.
And he goes, no, I put the cones there. And I was like, you what? So he said, if you've got a problem, just take it up with the council.
Luckily, Steve had been snap happy up top. Zoom in and his photo shows.
There's no cones around our car at all.
They appealed in December, sending the photo to Queenstown Lakes District Council. They were told,
no, we're not going to let you away with it.
They tried again, and in January the fee was waived.
With a warning and education. I don't know who's getting educated.
Because later in March, cones were still lurking in the garden before 9 a.m.
And I had to tell 4 other vehicles not to park in that park because they'll get a ticket.
And then out of the blue in April, a court summons demanding they still pay $180. More calls to sort it and a call out to Fair Go. We went to the council. It told us,
we have waived all infringements issued here, 15 in total, after we became aware the temporary parking arrangements weren't meeting requirements.
The cones are now gone, and it added appeals are possible, but it took these guys a lot of effort. Steve thinks the response to appeals needs improving.
It's just not fair. If they ticket people who aren't prepared to actually fight them about something, they make $150 for being unscrupulous.
Every single one of those scenarios was unbelievable, but well done, Jill, because that's 4 from 4 wins on that one.
Thanks. And parking's a hot topic right now in central Auckland, with new charges starting for nights and weekends.
So how does your council fare? Well, you can check out our Facebook page to see if it's one that goes big on dishing out the tickets.
E hari a kēnei. Coming up, we look back. We've got tears, we've got hugs, and of course, we've got silliness.
Kia ora, nau mai, hoki mai, welcome back. Now, as you know, tonight marks the final episode of Fair Go as you know it.
And Fair Go has had a legacy of gutsy reporters who've told your stories over many years.
And one of those is Hannah Wallace, who has been on the show for more than 2 decades, our second longest serving member, and she joined us now.
Thanks, Garth. Tonight we've got to say that while we're all really sad to say goodbye to 47 years on air, we're also remembering so many great moments, the very reasons that we all love this job.
Like those life-changing payouts, the epic rebuilds, and of course, the people.
The people. There are so many great stories to choose from, and Pippa's had the hard job of putting together some of our favourites.
I hear we're celebrating.
This might go down as the longest hug in Fair Go history. And fair enough, it's 2018 and 4 years after losing everything in a house fire caused by a faulty heater, the Smith family have just found out they're being paid $90,000 compensation.
You're pretty happy then?
Oh, we're ecstatic. It's awesome. Awesome. You couldn't ask for a better outcome, could you?
These are the moments Fairgo reporters have worked for decades. In 1993, this one was an insurance payout for widow Maria Tafew.
They're not just words, Maria. I have a cheque here for $100,000.
Oh, my God, I don't believe it.
Back in this century, Hannah told soldier Renee Shaw's story after a botched roof job left her family high, but not dry.
Pouring, literally pouring, like flooding inside my house that I bought for my family, my first home. Yeah, it's devastating.
But then the community came through, generously donating time and materials, and the Fairgo story had caught the eye of RSAs throughout the country who wanted to help too.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you so much. They are giving me $55,000 towards the renovation and refurbishment of my home.
These are the stories we love, giving a voice to someone who really needs it.
We'll try and sort this house out, eh?
Yeah.
We'll try and sort it out. It's not fair, is it?
Not fair.
Okay.
And getting results.
Have you had this all morning?
Yes, sort of banging on it. But it was welcome, believe me, it was absolutely welcome.
And believe me, so is the end result.
I'm so thrilled I could cry. I know, you see, I'm too emotional.
There was Garth's story, reuniting a war hero's medals with his family.
Well, this has been such an emotional roller coaster for the last 42 years to get those. Oh my goodness! When David handed them to me, I was shaking. I'm just so ever grateful to everyone that's been involved.
And fighting for New Zealanders across the motu has meant the privilege of meeting so many wonderful people. I mean, we even went into bat for Batman. Well, Wellington Batman, when his Facebook page was wrongly shut down.
You guys have just done such a fantastic job and I'm so appreciative of it.
And while we always take putting things right seriously, we've never shied away from a laugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen this? It shows you the equipment carried on this airliner to assist you in opening your cheese.
Whether it's testing call waiting times...
On your mark, get set, go.
A cheeky bit of time travel.
Hi, this must be a surprise. Are you? Yeah. October 2023. Huh. What happened to your hair? Never mind.
A massive dance routine in a very public place.
This is what I wear every other day of the week.
Or, well, you name it. Apologies for the outrageously short shorts. Speaking of outrageous...
Pony just went inside, unsupervised.
Sometimes our stories didn't go to plan. A horse in the house? Well, just roll with it.
Does he watch Fairgo?
Maybe if it was raining and he came inside.
Well, that's just made my day, I have to say. Made my day.
Hannah, I've always loved that horse.
It's so cool. Look, as we've always said, this show is all about you. And while we are gutted to say goodbye to Fairgo in its current form, it's not over. We will still be here for you online.
Oh, yes, and the inbox is still very much open for business, so keep emailing us at fairgo@tvnz.co.nz or write to us, PO Box 3819, Auckland 1140.
Follow the Fairgo Facebook page to stay updated on where to find our stories and look out for them on onenews.co.nz and on TVNZ+.
A huge thank you too to the entire Fairgo team. Come on team. Maxie and Gary, our cameraman.
Amazing executive producer Nick and our producer extraordinaire Daisy there. Thanks, guys. It's been a very special time for us, and thanks to you, our viewers, for making our time on Fair Go so special, for writing to us, for watching us, and for supporting us for nearly 5 decades. So from all of us here, Pō Mārie.